If you can't be friends, then you can at least be enemies. Fearlessness, the two qualities that 50 Cent and Robert Greene came up with overall success, which I don't hear anybody talk about. Number one is fearlessness, and number two is hustler spirit. Excuse me, guys. Never sneezed on camera. So, in Russia, there is a saying, if you say something and then you sneeze after that, then it's true. So there you go. Anyway, so two qualities. Hustler spirit is just kind of he says a lot of immigrants possess it. It's where, you want to improve versus sitting on your couch and drinking beer, watching football or some shit. Where you sit and you actually, grind, you try to get ahead. And we are going to focus on fearlessness, specifically fearlessness. Fearlessness is very interesting. So check out this quote. 50 Cent says, "A little paranoia never hurt anybody." So that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be, afraid, but a little bit of paranoia, it will keep you going. Especially with the hustler spirit, it keeps you a little bit on the edge. If you haven't watched the previous video, when I climbed the tree, I say people should do something a little exhilarating to actually kind of reset themselves and reset their mind. But let me tell you this, fear is used in every single area. Like today, before I came to record this video, I was at the gym. And you know what I was doing? I was doing neck curls, so I had, I was doing my neck exercises. And you also have to use fear there. Because there's people watching you, and it's a new, it's a weird exercise. Like, why does this guy have a plate on his forehead? Why is he doing these? Like, what the hell? And you have to overcome that anxiety of being, fear of anxiety. Like, it's all based on fear. People break it down to little concepts. But it's obviously all the same thing. Now, let me tell you another thing. So, I was boxing with my friends the other days. It was, a sparring match. We meet up, we cook out, we get our protein in, we discuss the plans. And as we were boxing, I decided to be, flex on them a little bit. Be a dumbass. And I was only using my left hand. So, I was like, I'll take you on with my left hand, bro. I was jabbing. And obviously, I missed a jab. And I think it might have been his right hand, too. I don't know, whatever it was. But it was a medium hard punch. And he got me right here, a little bit above the nose. So, he smacks me. And I'm a little dazed, I wasn't passed out, but I was like, it was kind of like a decent punch. And that's why I recommend a lot of guys get smacked in the nose sometimes. Because it is very important, especially for fearlessness. It is so, so critically important that you get some physical activity. And if you don't climb a tree, then get smacked in the nose. It immediately brings you back into reality, which we'll talk a little bit about in a second. But anyway, so I get smacked. And then I get so mad. But I don't necessarily get mad because he smacked me. I get mad because of what he did after he smacked me. You know what he did after he smacked me? He stopped. And he started saying, yo, are you okay, bro? Oh, my bad. That was actually hard. My sorry, bro. And I got angry because this is not how it's supposed to go. I was at the most real moment in, in a fight situation. That would have been as close as I could get to a real fight situation. So I wanted him to keep going. I said, yo, no, keep going, bro. Let's go. And those 7 or 8 seconds that he didn't go at me and he let me recover, I was insanely angry about that. And I was annoyed. Because those 8 seconds that he let me recover, I got back and now I was okay. And I didn't test myself all the way. And so this brings us to the first point in being fearless. There's a few points that I mentioned in the book called Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, literally written by 50 Cent. In case you guys don't know his story. He was for him, he was, when he got shot 9 times. Everybody knows about that. I think it was 2003 or 2005. I think it was 2000 or 2001. It was either 2003 or 2001. And he got shot, and as he, was recovering at his grandma's house, the doctor told him to start jogging. So, he's wanted to start jogging, but then he looks out the window and sees some random guy out there who's just walking. So he looked a little too suspicious. He says he was trying a little too hard not to look suspicious in 50's mind. And, his name's Curtis Jackson. But I'll refer to him as 50 Cent because that's what you guys know him as. So, what did he do? Well, he stayed inside. And he says something interesting. The more he stayed inside, and this was the time he genuinely felt fear. He says he felt fear twice in his life. When his mom died when he was young, which was a traumatic experience for a kid. Ooh, golf ball. Guys, if I get hit, then I'll just pick it back up. Who cares? But anyway, so the second part was when he actually got shot. So he says he sat at his home and he was scared because he didn't die, so the shooters would have come back to finish the job. He started getting intimidated and scared. And you know what happened after? He said this. He says his emotion of fear transformed into something else, which I tell you guys, like if you are scared, there's going to be a point, like with 50, when your emotion of fear is going to transform into hate. So he started hating feeling afraid. He literally says, I hated feeling afraid. And hatred, it turned into anger. So it turned into anger. And anger, as we all know.
I think anger is a fantastic thing to feel. A lot of people are told.
No, I get it.
A lot of people are told to not feel angry. And I think
I'm going to send that to CNN, man.
Yeah, I think that's wrong. I think you should absolutely feel angry. That's a great thing. But you need to learn to channel it. Now, there's a million things you can channel it into. You can channel it into the gym. You can channel it into your business. You can channel it into whatever. But you're not stupid. You know what's going to positively impact your life, what's going to negatively impact your life. My life was built off the back of anger. I was too angry to sleep that I was broke. That's how I got rich. I was too angry to sleep at the thought of losing. That's why I trained. I was completely built on anger. And I channeled it all in the right direction. I have no criminal record.
So the first principle of mastering fear and being fearless is intense realism. That's probably not what you heard. You probably heard, oh yeah, I talked about being strong in the previous video, but that's the base. This is like in-depth stuff. I don't hear anybody talk about this. So I'm going to talk about this. Intense realism, what does that mean? Well, it means you have to have a baseline to where you start. So for example, let's take David Goggins. Remember he literally said that himself. He says when he was little, when he was young, he looked at himself in the mirror in a third-person point of view, and he said, okay, look, you're stupid and you're fat. He just plain flat out said that to himself. He said that to himself, and, the guys behind us probably wouldn't say that to himself. Sorry, but I'm gonna stop roasting people. But, so, he looked at himself and he found his baseline. His baseline was seeing himself as fat and stupid, because that's what he was. Think about Tate. What were his principles? He says at a young age he discovered that, the world, what were his 3 principles? It was like that you can do anything you can, anything you want. The world is never going to give you anything. And the third one was like, it was something, I forget. So he found his baseline. Think about, for example, I don't know, anybody. 50 Cent, same story. What about Donald Trump, you might say? Well, Donald Trump, he had a different baseline because he was at a different level. His dad gave him $1 million, so he realized, okay, my baseline is $1 million. If that's what you are, still, yeah, hell yeah. He took that $1 million, he made it into billions. What is he, like $6 or $7 billion now? He's worth I think it's $6.5 billion, but double check me maybe. That's still impressive, bro. That's impressive as hell. So you have to find your baseline and you have to be real about it. Reality. For me, I found my baseline when I was young, and I was having a bad time, which was like early sophomore year of high school. In America, you have like this thing, a few years back. And I found myself, and I said, this is my baseline. When I was in my garage and I was like trying to start these little side hustles. And I was like, okay, well, that's my baseline. I was like, you know, everything's going bad. Let me just slow down and let me just start from the base. From the simplest thing. Here's what 50 Cent says, reality is my drug. And I hope it becomes your drug too. Look at this. So let's say you have a horse and you are breeding it, you know, you're giving it food, giving it water, exercising it daily. And you know it's got a good baseline. You've been training it for a race. And then all of a sudden you get this random horse that comes out of nowhere. You know, it's a different breeder. He's like, yo, this is a good horse. Yeah, grab it. Which horse are you going to race? So now you have the choice. Are you going to take your horse that's been breeded by you and you know what it is about? Or you could take this other horse, the trainer's horse. Now, you don't know if that trainer's horse been eating well, if it's properly nutritioned, if it's properly exercised, if it's properly, you know, if it's healthy. You would probably choose the horse that's been yours, right? Because at least you know that this horse has been trained by you. And you're not putting your money, you know, it's the end of the race. Let's say it's like this giant trophy. There's a golden trophy that you're going to achieve. Well, are you going to let some trainer's horse who, like, you know, he's maybe some fake guru who's, you know, training horses who are literally might set you up to lose? Who might have been bribed? Or are you going to take your trusted horse that, you know, maybe it's not like an insane horse, but you've done literally like 99% of the work. And this horse is 99% of good as, like, you know, a horse can be, physically and mentally. You put it on horse testosterone replacement. Like, and then imagine this, replace these horses with yourself. You've been training yourself since you started. And you've been putting stuff in your body, and you know how fast you're gonna run, and you know the things you can do. But at the end of this road, there's not some golden trophy. No. There is retirement for your mom, for your family, for yourself, a beautiful feminine woman, and your fertility, and your beautiful children, your masculine men, your boys, and, you know, a beautiful girl, and a giant house, and financial freedom. And you can run this race. Or you can, you know, let some other horse run this race. Some company, some, you know, yeah, just, it's okay, yeah. I'm totally good, you know, reality, I'll just sit and watch TV. Drink my beer. Well, 50 Cent says, even if he was, you know, betting on a horse, he would bet on himself. Because he knows he would run as fast as he can. And I know I'm gonna run as fast as I can. So that's why I put the stakes on myself. And I embrace reality. And I hope that you also embrace reality. Because the rewards at the end of the road are super, super massive. So then let's talk about the next concept. Well, the next concept is opportunism. And this is where the fearlessness comes in. Because in order to get the opportunities, we'll have to grab them. So let's look a little bit deeper. When you have lack of resources and you're at the bottom, well, guess what? You have nowhere to fall. So if you're at a lack of resources, that's why those people, you know, who have a corporate BMW, who are somewhat good in the, you know, social hierarchy, that's why they're afraid most of all. Trust me, you who's watching this right now, you're probably a young guy or a young person. And guess what? You have a huge advantage because you, not only are you young, but also you probably don't have a lot of stuff, so you can take risks. You don't have to take massive risks, but you can take risks because you are at the lowest point, or, you know, the lower point. You don't have any houses attached to you. You don't have any cars attached to you. You don't have any mortgages attached to you. Or hopefully you don't have any mortgages attached to you. But you don't have a lot to lose. And that is amazing. Think about this. When 50 Cent was at his lowest, he got dropped by 2 record labels, I think. Or it was 1 record label and then Columbia Records that dropped him. Because he got shot, so he was too scary, to be around and associate with. He couldn't find a record label. He was at his lowest point. And as he was recovering after that story of, him being fearless, well, then he started looking for opportunities. He couldn't advertise his music because, the record labels at that time weren't good. They wouldn't just allow him to do it, so he had to advertise himself. Well, how did he do that? He started giving his music to bootleggers. At that time in New York, there were people who, selling mixtapes illegally, like, immigrants with a hustler spirit. And they were bootlegging tapes and selling them on the, a little bit expensive, a little bit like on the cheaper end. And usually, artists didn't want the bootleggers to have their CDs or, mixtapes, because then they don't give any of the profits to the author who, wrote the song. But 50 found an opportunity to capitalize on this. So what he did is he just gave those music away to those bootleggers. So he's like, yeah, here you go, guys. He spread it all across New York, and he literally tricked the bootleggers who thought they were tricking 50 Cent. He said that's the hottest hit, and it got leaked. He spread it on every single corner of New York. And his music boomed, and that was actually Eminem. Eminem, when he found 50 Cent, he found a mixtape through one of those bootleggers. Think about how crazy that is. Think about the opportunity that was found there. And you can find opportunities anywhere. Like, for example, the men's improvement space. It's just starting to grow. And you are awesome, bro. If you watch this, it's only like pretty much these random YouTubers who are supporting you. And you're being brave and fearless when you do this stuff. There's only a few of us, and the competition isn't big. But you can capitalize on this movement, because this movement will grow. I guarantee you, this movement will grow. See, if you get an opportunity here, you become a strong man. You start a supplement brand. You see how you can help by improving, helping, other men become strong. Get the society strong. Strengthen family bonds. Maybe open a therapy, like a legit therapy, not some fat therapist who fucking has a sugar addiction, who tells you, yeah, it's okay, just go. The fucking therapist who literally can't stop eating sugars. Like, oh, I'm so bad, I just gotta have this sugar. What the fuck why are you listening to these people for? Why? Bro, it always pisses me off. Like, what the fuck? Why don't you capitalize on the movement, become a legit good therapist, and teach men masculine morals and empower them? Give them boosts of testosterone. Tell them to sun their balls, bro. Literally, it's another thing I added to my morning routine. No therapist is going to tell you that you can sun your balls because they're too scared. But you aren't. 50 Cent said, if you can't be friends, then you can at least be enemies. Literally said that. He had a beef with Oprah because they were, saying oh yeah, this guy's just a misogynist. Bro, everybody gets called a misogynist. It's so funny. It's not just, the Tate or something. It's 50 happened the same thing in the day by Oprah, So 50 decided to capitalize on this opportunity. And he started beefing with her. And when Oprah's friend consulted him, she says, why are you messing with my friend? Because she thought he was some gangster, but he was actually a smart guy. He says, if we can't be friends, can we at least be enemies? So, let me tell you, if you're starting a therapy office and you assemble next to some therapists, well, you can be friends. If you tell your clients to sun your balls and, get toxic masculinity, so then at least be enemies. And this brings us to the next point, which is making everything your own. Basketball versus boxing. Baseball versus golf. Hockey versus chess. What do you notice? What is different with the first and the second? That was a golf ball. The first is a team sport. And there's an interesting thing because in team sports, you can do your best part, you can play very well, but the final result won't necessarily come because of you. It oftentimes comes because of a team effort versus something like boxing, like golf, or like chess, where it is just up to you as the person. If you play, if you box, you made a mistake, you lose. If you smack that ball and you misdirect it somewhere, you lose. If you play chess and you make a mistake somewhere, you lose. For 50 Cent, the nearest golf course was pretty far and it was also a little too pricey when he was a kid. So he joined a boxing gym. And he used to practice basketball before. Basketball is very good, He liked it, he would play with the guys, but he couldn't stand the fact that when somebody made a mistake and they lost the game was because of that guy. And obviously, when he made a mistake, he would admit it, but he would never pass the ball to the guy who would continuously miss it. And if he would pass the ball and if the guy made a mistake, then it would be annoying. I assume not for him, for us. He probably had that experience. But when he joined a boxing gym, he really enjoyed the whole atmosphere of being responsible for his own result by himself. And check this out. Why is it that, for example, 50 Cent did boxing? Why did Andrew Tate do chess and then he did fighting? Why does Donald Trump play golf? Why do other people that are successful usually play sports that involve you alone? Just some food for thought. I was on a ride-along, my first ever ride-along with the firemen. It was the first, ride-along. It was at station, I won't name it, but it was at a station. And it was my first ride-along. I'm coming on, and I drop my bags. And, it was like basically you go on there for 12 hours. So it's like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so I'm on a ride-along. I'm meeting the guys. I was riding with this really cool guy. His name is Justin. And, I'm next to him. And he's like, yeah, bro, feel alone, feel at home. Like, yeah, you're at the fire station. You're part of our crew today, this. And I try to feel at home. And, I'm doing everything I can. And I'm usually fearless. But for some reason, I'm just like, I can't really kick my feet up on the chair and start talking about golf carts. Because I know these firemen live in this place, they sleep here, they eat here, and I just can't really get in. And only after I realized what the problem was. And this is something I pay attention, this is so important. You know why I didn't feel good? Because I didn't have leverage. This connects to, having everything your own. I did not contribute and I didn't have anything that I could leverage with. And only after I was able to pay, I was going to, buy dinner for everybody. Only then I bought dinner, for me and I think for one other guy. But if I was to buy dinner for all of them, only then I would have gotten leverage, and only then would have I started to feel at home, and I would have started to feel some level of power. It is super important not to just make everything your own, but whenever you meet somebody and try to blend into a social circle, you have to provide something. It can be as simple as having, a strong body and just, having attention of females, having the men respect you. That's something, you provide, but it can also be something physical. Like at a fire station, you're trying to meet some important guy, buy the food. So it's not just like, oh, sir, it's like, no, fuck you, bro. I have my own stuff. Any place you go. And it will make a better impression. And oftentimes, these will be the people who would want to collaborate with you. 50 Cent said this. He usually pays for everybody's bills, so he was at a fancy dinner with some car manufacturing guy, super high-end guy. And he had to go, so he's like, yo, I'll pay for you guys' dinner. He, got the checked in, and he's like, yo, guys, I'm leaving. I've already paid for everybody. And the car manufacturing guy, he jumps out of his seat and he says, wait, what? So you paid for everybody's dinner? That's crazy. I'm usually the guy paying for everybody's dinner. Hold on a second. I can just let this guy go. And they started collaborating together. And they made a lot of profits and a lot of good stuff. Simply because of leverage. And because, 50 showed that he doesn't need anything from anybody else. The guy realized that he doesn't just want to parasite off of him. Because he would assume that a lot of people thought that they were entitled to this dinner. And you probably think a lot about entitlement too. Ready? I'm going to break this wall right now. Right here, right now. I'm going to break your whole entitlement trap. And I'll show you how, by this one simple phrase. No one owes you anything. But you don't owe anybody anything as well. Think about this. How does this make you feel? Feels a little liberating to me, honestly. Nobody really owes you anything. Because obviously, you didn't do stuff. Like, why would they owe you stuff? Everybody's just trying to survive. But at the same time, you don't owe anybody anything. So you don't ask anything in return. You just do your stuff. And for all those shy people who are watching, the way you get better in social circles is you implement the same phrase. Don't expect them to give you anything. But at the same time, don't expect for them to receive anything. And that will make you so comfortable that in the end you'll just start talking, you'll start being more comfortable with the people. Especially if you use the principle we talked about before, leverage. If you have leverage over these people, you're set, bro. That's it. So then we talk about the whole process, which is, mastering the process. How do you master the process and how do you respect this process of becoming fearless? So, respecting the process. There's this book that's called, remember The Way of the Superior Men? Yeah, that book. Yep, the one I'm talking about. What's the first chapter in The Way of the Superior Men? It's called Stop Hoping for a Completion of Anything in Life. Now, when hard times hit, now that doesn't mean, when there's hard times and you get trauma, people just quit, they give up, they start to, doing some weird stuff like, just isolate in your room or turn to the Bible or something. No, that means that you have to enjoy the process. You have to be present. When you're present and you understand this, you're fearless. Remember, intense realism. I don't understand why people don't talk about this. You can't, you have to understand the reality. Because that's how you be fearless. You can't think of yourself as some crazy fitness guru when you've been going to the gym for, 6 months. Yeah, you might be in not bad shape, but you're not at the top. But you can get to the top if you're fearless and you have the hustler's mindset. There's a problem, because here comes the topic of drugs. So let's talk about that really quick, because that also prevents you from being fearless. Imagine you're at some party. And everybody's smoking, and you're the organizer, you're having fun. Everybody's taking shots, booze. Why would you get high in that party? Let's imagine you take, somebody hands you a blunt. You smoke it, or like a pen or something. From True Leaf. Let's make it super relatable. Your buddy John gives you a pen. Oh, those guys are not having a good day. But anyway, so let's imagine somebody gives you a True Leaf pen. And you're like, yo, marijuana, bro. And you take a hit. How are you gonna feel after that? If there's this whole booming party, and you're out there and you're high, and you're in this state, in case nobody has smoked, like basically when you smoke, I did it like years ago, before I started self-improvement, because, let me tell you, why did I do this? Because I saw a friend who did that, and I wanted to fit in, and I wasn't as brave as that time. This is how, bro, everything relates to fearlessness. I had this friend, and he would always smoke, but anyway, so you smoke, and then you're kind of in this like half like floaty or like this sleepy state. Everything is like in slow motion. Would you feel confident running this party? Or would you start thinking like, dude, what the hell's going on? I gotta get control of this. Haha, but you can't. Because it's too late. You're already high. Your brain chemicals have already altered, and it's like pulsating, and you can't do anything. There's this, like, some hot chick in the corner, and you can't even talk to her because you're like, you just don't understand anything. And let's say the police come in just to investigate. What the fuck are you gonna do? Hey, officer. What? Like, 50 gives an example. Let's say, those artists who smoke and stuff. Now, Nick, I'm not even talking about, because Nick is just retarded, bro. What the fuck is the point of Nick? You just hit it, and it gives you a buzz? Like, what? I heard this thing, like, apparently, those people who haven't sucked enough of their mom's breast, and then they, like, the motion of, the vape, like, touching your mouth, it, like, symbolizes somehow. It's like childhood. I'm like, what that fucking bullshit? I only had my mom's breast for, I think, like, a year or a little under a year. Because then she got sick with the flu or something, so I couldn't, and I had to, I had to miss having my mom's breast, bro, when I was a little boy. And then these motherfuckers, bro, my neighbors, they had that till like they were 6. I was like, what the fuck? That's some weird shit, bro. Fuck that. I don't know. Maybe it's like a Russian thing to just not breastfeed as long. But I think that's bullshit. So imagine like 50 Cent says you're making raps. Let's say you're a rapper. And you're making, big, like, hits. But you can only make hits when you're high. Like Snoop or Wiz Khalifa or something. Or Lil Wayne or, somebody. I don't know. By the way, 50 Cent never smokes. What? Yeah, I know, right? That's crazy. But anyway, so imagine Dr. Dre's coming by. Or like Eminem or somebody, I don't know, Kendrick Lamar is rolling by. And he wants you to make a hit really quick. He's like, yo, make a hit. Like, Kendrick Lamar is going to be here in like 10 minutes. Dre's coming in. He's going to be by in 7 minutes. Stop by. What are you going to say? Are you going to say, oh, wait, I need to get my weed. I got to smoke. I got to get high in the mood, bro. By the time you get your weed pen and you smoke that, well, Dre's gone, bro. Haha. And that brings us to the topic of crutches. Because crutches are a big thing. So there's this thing, it's like a crutch. Crutch, what does a crutch help you do? It helps you walk. It helps you do stuff. Well, weed, alcohol, and anything, like, music, maybe even your girlfriend, they're crutches oftentimes. The warm bed, sugars, energy drink, oh, let me crank a Celsius. That's a crutch, bro. Why would you need to hit an energy drink before a gym? What if there's no energy drinks? What are you gonna do now? Oh, let me just crank my Monster, bro. Now, I listen to music oftentimes. I'm like, I don't need an energy. I'll turn on some, like, motivation, like Russian motivation. That's also a crutch, bro. I'm also using a crutch as music.
We like to put the headphones on, like before the big game, and listen to the music.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you do when the headphones come off, bro? It's you in your own mind.
Right.
I know how to do that. That's the hard part, man.
Do you ever listen to music when you run?
Never.
In an ideal world, I should come in and just work out. But crutches are everywhere. And guess what? The less crutches you have, told by 50 Cent and Robert Greene, the less crutches you have, the farther you'll go. In the music industry, anywhere. And crutches are what makes you fear. You're fearful of losing those crutches. Think about this. You're fearful of quitting smoking because you're scared friend group wouldn't accept you. Fuck those people, bro. I heard this quote. It said, you don't need your friends. Your friends need you. Maybe a little arrogant, right? But maybe not. Maybe we need a little bit of that arrogance and a healthy ego. So knowing your environment in terms of friends, well, you have to feel the times. Like, think about this now. There's this law, my favorite law in the 48 Laws of Power. It's Law 35. That law talks about, it's like, master the art of timing. And it gives this beautiful example of Fouché, who was a French revolutionary. And he basically was an expert at feeling the times. I recommend anybody, like, type it into YouTube. Say, Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, Law 35. Or they have, like, you know, the little comments, they have the chapter separate. Click on Law 35. Listen to that law. I'm not going to talk about it. It's basically about Fouché. And he was a master at looking at the times. He switched with the flows. He went through the French Revolution. Then he went to, like, other revolutions. He went through Napoleon. He went through Napoleon's second reign. And he would just slither around and he would just grab this stuff. And I love this whole, like, concept of mastering that flow to where you can get the advantages of different time periods. Like, what time period are we in now? We're in the time period of the rising toxic masculinity. And I mentioned this, remember, you can capitalize on this. And I love this movement. I especially love this movement because it pertains to men, you know? Like, this whole just flow of everybody picking up masculinity, it's gonna get bigger. And I love this, because this is an interesting time. It's an amazing time that we're living. It's not some bullshit, oh, a revolution, yeah. This is a male revolution. This is crazy, bro. This is me and you. Or, you know, me and you. The other way around, bro, sorry. We're on this. And you know that quote that said, like I just said, with the healthy ego. Oftentimes, you might want to just empower your friends. You don't need your friends need you. They need you to organize them. They need you to be a leader. Do you know how there's not a lot of leaders out here? They need you. Yeah, it's hard to organize your friends, to keep a daily meeting every single day. And I've been slacking on this myself, bro. It's not just you, you know. But we have to do the reset, the male reset of climbing on a tree and just refreshing your mind and getting back at it. For example, you know, we have to, like, the daily meetings. I've been slacking on that. I missed the past meeting because I was supposed to organize my men, my tribe. I was supposed to message them. I was supposed to, yo, let's get here. We're cooking steak today. We're cooking lamb. We're boxing, bro. Empower your friends. So now, let's talk about the momentum. Because momentum is so important. Well, how do you keep this calculated momentum? Chris from First Man has a really good point on this. He says, the stick or twist philosophy. That's a very, very good philosophy. I definitely 100% agree with that. And some people just twist. They don't know what stick is, bro. Like, some people, they've never stuck to anything. Look at Goggins, bro. Always excel, because once you get that taste of victory, I'm going to do a book called Relentless Review. Once you taste that little taste of victory, it's like a drug, bro. That's the drugs you got to be addicted to, not your vapes. The drug of victory, fueled by testosterone and flow state. Flow state is what you have to develop. And I don't know, bro, flow state is just such a massive thing. I think flow state, if you couple flow state with realism, bro, holy cow. You know how Tate has his motto, what is it, like, my unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer infatigability? If you have an unmatched flow state coupled with realism, dude, that is a whole, oh Jesus, we got a golf ball. Never mind. If you couple a flow state with realism, you don't even understand. That is like a core whole realm in itself. So before we go into that, I want to talk to you because a lot of people always, like, fear of missing out a party. You know, oh no, my friends are there. Oh, this girl is going to be there. And the guy looks you in the eyes and he's like, you're like, I'm not going. And the guy's just looking at you in the eyes and he's like, well, you're not even invited, bro. Fuck off. You might be thinking, oh, no. What? Oh, Jesus, bro. 2 in a row. Whew, we're still alive. Fearless, bro. Yeah. But there's this thing. So I was at the gym the other day. And I was just training. I was doing my stuff. I walked in, and there's this girl who I did not expect to see. It was a girl who I've been doing flagpoles with in elementary school. I would flagpole with her. Let's call her, I don't know, Jackie. So Jackie's in the gym. And I remember we did flagpoles, and she would always drink her Starbucks coffee. She would always talk about her boyfriend and girlfriend problems. And it was like 4th, 5th grade, I think. And I walked in the gym after long days of work, after, working on my website, after doing my stuff, after, I think I had the 2 jobs that day. It was something interesting. I got my stuff, then I was like, okay, let's get this workout before we go to bed. And she was in there. She had a vape. Literally a lanyard. A dang lanyard. Like a lanyard that you carry. That had a vape attached to it. And I was chuckling because it was so funny. I was surprised first, but then I started chuckling because it was like, so yeah, bro, here it is. It's on a string, right? To fucking take a hit. Dog. This girl did not look okay. You could tell just by looking in her eyes, she's been dicked and fucked and penetrated without love. Not by a superior man, but by some douchebag, some Brandon. Many, many times. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and she was proper like, whoa, like, she kind of like, her eyes like shut up, because she wasn't like, it was unexpected, because that gym, like, I didn't expect to find her at that gym. She probably didn't expect to find me. But we looked at each other, and we just understood what places we are, and how our places have switched, how that calculated momentum has carried me through to where I am now, because I was a little chump when I was small. Like, when I was little in elementary school, bro, I wasn't the best looking guy. But with her, and we just looked at each other, and we saw how the whole reversal just happened. Because I would never stick, or always twist. And she looks exactly the same. What did she do? Nothing. Little old Jackie didn't do nothing. That happens with many people. Maybe you have some guy whose name is like Zeke or something. And Zeke is the high school, he plays baseball. He's the cool guy. What the fuck happens to him in 5 years? Since the start of high school, to the end of high school. Where is he at? He's at the same exact spot, bro. He went to tens of parties. So what? He's at the same exact spot. Same with Josh, same with Johnny. Same with, like, I don't know, Haley. They're all in the same spot. They're spinning in a circle, going to parties. You may not be going to parties. You might not, be doing all this fancy stuff. But you're actually excelling in the dark, in the hoodie, in this underground basement. And you keep that calculated momentum going. That's the importance of calculated momentum. And to keep everything simple. It unlocks a new level of fearlessness. If you get past that fear and you just sit there and you couple your flow state, remember, your unmatched flow state coupled with realism is going to make you a millionaire. It will. If you genuinely have an insane flow state and you just do that all the time, what else are you going to be? you're gonna be something. If you're in the basement every single day and just diesel, bro. Testosterone is high. How do you keep that diesel momentum? Aggression. Aggression is a big part, my friend. A lot of people say you shouldn't use that. But that therapist who tells you to sun your balls, he will tell you the opposite. There was on one of my cookouts, I was at this park, and I was doing a cookout with the boys, and we saw some like guy running. He was maybe 80, 90 years old. No, not 90, he was maybe 70, 80, that's what it is. You know, old guy, he's got all wrinkly, like all proper, you know, like. And he's just doing little jogs with his little, you know, like legs. He would go to the table, he would do some squats. Like leg raises, like lie on the table in the park, do some leg raises. He would obviously not go, and we're just out there cooking meat. They're like, yo, grandpa, you want some? And we started talking to him. He ran 318 triathlons in his life. Think about that for a second. 318 triathlons. Running, cycling, and swimming. That's like rivaling Goggins, bro. No offense. This guy, do you think he would have been able to do every single one of those triathlons? Which is just like, oh yeah, let's do it. Without aggression? Or do you think he was fueled at some point? Because he wasn't a little bitch. He was fueled by testosterone to get this stuff done. I bet you he was. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene say that it's better to be feared and respected versus than loved. Same thing in Relentless, the book I'm going to review next. It's better to be feared and respected than loved. Let me ask you. Let's say I got aggressive. You know, I'm always a nice guy, Rustam, yo. Let's say I got aggressive. And I'm, this 6'3.5", 182-pound guy who knows how to box. Would you stop me? Genuine question. Would you stand in front of me and you say, yo, if I was aggressive, now, блядь, ты чё хуел, сука, блядь? Like some Russian curse. Probably not. You might or you might not. But aggression can literally help you boost your momentum. Sometimes, again, you just become scared. You just become tired of feeling afraid. And when you become tired of feeling afraid, you start to get aggressive. And that's absolutely perfect. The legit therapist who will tell you to sun your balls, he will tell you it's perfectly fine to be aggressive. To get that testosterone up. To believe in your beliefs. Try it out, bro. Be a little more alive. See how people around you treat you. I guarantee you the results are going to be different. A lot of people have this thing, it's called reverse. Remember we talked about entitlement? Well, this is something that's called the reverse entitlement. 50 mentions, and when everybody was a slave and there was slavery? Well, a lot of folks, he says, in the black community also held that belief to this day. And they believe that they can't actually achieve, like when some people say, oh, I want to be a millionaire, and your grandpa or your grandma is like, oh yeah, come on, son, all we need to do is just live another day. We hope we live another day. What are we talking about, millions? That's the same ego speaking. That's the reverse entitlement. The reverse entitlement of them not believing in themselves to reach their goals. Hamza has a good video on that. Is like limiting beliefs for young guys. You can do this stuff. You are a fearless motherfucker. And you can do anything you want, especially when you boost some aggression into it. There was a lady that, you know, like any guy, like I have some people at work, they'll just start, you know, talking stuff, like talking smack. Notice once you get a little bit of aggression in, when you actually start to look more intimidating, and you respond to them a little bit more rough, they quit all their bullshit. People around you start quitting their bullshit. If you show a little aggression. Not only that, your flow state gets better. Your flow state improves. And then you couple that with some realism. And you're an absolute monster, bro. So stay aggressive, bro. Now remember, if you have an unmatched flow state that's coupled with intense realism and a sparkle of aggression in there, which will help you, you know, by getting your testosterone up, you're unstoppable, bro. That's it. Stay toxically masculine.